Once the investigation is done, let's see what action will be taken. Now, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, is under pressure over the slow pace of investigations into last year's anti-finance bill protests. According to IPOA's data, 60 people died in the hands of people believed to be police officers. Lobby groups, among them Amnesty International, are now calling on the Kenya Defence Forces and the police to react to a BBC documentary that implicates their officers in the deaths, with the Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Ingonga, asking IPOA to probe the killings that took place outside Parliament buildings. Our reporter, Fred Kagonye, with the details.
Amnesty International is calling on the Kenya Defence Forces, KDF, and the National Police Service to issue statements in response to a BBC documentary, Blood Parliament, whose findings show that their officers shot protesters dead. Amnesty's Executive Director, Irungu Houghton, stated that the documentary corroborates reports released last year that show excessive use of force by the police.
The government's response extended beyond physical spaces, the streets, the homes, the places of worship, and other physical public spaces, to the targeting of online dissent.
According to Irungu, as much as the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, released a status update on the progress of investigations, there needs to be demonstrable evidence that the perpetrators will be brought to book.
The Kenyan public deserves demonstrable evidence that those who have committed serious crimes are being held accountable.
According to the report by IPOA, they received 60 cases. From this, the authority has completed investigations in 22 cases, with 2 cases actively before the court regarding the killing of Rex Kanyike Masai, who was the first victim of the Gen Z protest to lose their life, and Evans Kirato, who were killed in Nairobi's CBD. IPOA says that it is actively pursuing 36 cases and has since closed 2 case files after internal review, and 3 other files were closed after advice from DPP Ingonga. The police are yet to issue any statement regarding the documentary. In response to the BBC feature, KDF claims that IPOA is yet to ask for any information in regards to probing the killings. The Gazette noticed that deployed KDF to the streets is still active, and since their deployment, the Chief of Defence Forces, General Charles Kahiriri, spoke about the demonstrations, albeit indirectly, when giving his remarks in an event organized by the National Intelligence Service.
Wakati watu wanaamua kwamba tumechoka na hii serikali na mulichagua wenyewe, alafu mnasema must go. That must go, must be done according to the constitution.
DPP Ingonga, in a letter, directed IPOA to probe the excessive force used by the police in response to the breaking into parliament by protesters. Meanwhile, MPs have waded into the matter, saying the BBC expose is inciting the youth.
What is it that the BBC is doing? Could it be an attempt to untwist this country so that they can rescind on the rider that we put on their training of the Batuk units in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and perpetuate a history of extractive economy?
Our fellow Kenyans lost their lives, unfortunately. But we also moved on to ensure that we reconcile the country.
We think we are moving on, but there are many young people who have not necessarily moved on.
Fred Kagonye, KTN, Nairobi.
Well, that BBC documentary has definitely opened a can of worms, with calls for accountability reigning the air. Let's take a look at what you'll be waking up to tomorrow on Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. The headline, unmoved by bloodshed. All to do with the inhumane response by the government, even as the nation reels from a damning expose revealing extrajudicial killings during last year's Gen Z protests. Fresh reports have emerged of police firing bullets at residents protesting an alleged land grab in Narok. Rights groups now question whether President William Ruto and his security chiefs grasp their constitutional duty, chief among them the protection of life. Pages 3, 4, and 5 have gone big with that particular story. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and take a look at the trail of events from the BBC expose to the unfortunate killings that happened yesterday in Narok County. The Bold has you covered.